Sue Kim spent 28 years of his life in prison. But it wasn't a prison of cold bars, mechanical latchings, or wayward wardens, but a self-imposed prison of fear. When the American soldiers invaded the island of Guam, Sue fled into the jungle, into a cave, where he remained for 28 years. 336 months. 10,226 days. 250,000 hours in fear. He remained in that cave because inside of that cave, it was comfortable. And he knew what to expect. But to step outside of that cave, well, that was a different story. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, raise your hand if you've ever been afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Me too. For many years, I allowed fear to dictate, to dominate, and to rule in my life, in my professional pursuits. Professional speaking? What makes you think that people will be interested in paying to hear you speak? Fear. That book you wrote, I started out so enthusiastically. In 60 pages, fear steps in and says, you think people are going to buy your book? Fear. And in my relationships, from high school all the way to college, I might like this woman. She may seem interested, but did I really think she would just walk up to me and introduce herself to me? Fear. You don't want to take that risk because deep down inside, you don't feel that you're good enough, that you're smart enough, that you're enough. And then they'll know. They'll know that you're not perfect. So you just stay right there within this comfort zone, and you don't want to take steps to move out. I was reminded of this past weekend when my mother came home, and I asked her about my younger years, and I said, Mom, I said, we moved in and moved out so many different times, and my father abused you. Why did you stay in that relationship? And she stood and she looked at me with the tears rolling down her cheeks, and she said to me, Son, I was afraid of your father. I was afraid of the abuse. But I was also afraid to leave. I was afraid that you guys wouldn't have a roof over your head and food to eat. And it was at that moment that I realized that I'm not, and we're not that much different from my mother. We're afraid of the problem of the current situation, but we're also afraid of the solution. We're in that job. We don't like it. We don't like that boss. We're afraid we might lose that job, but we're afraid to step outside that comfort zone to take the new job. We're afraid to leave the current job that we're not happy with to take on this new job or start that new business because we're comfortable. It's paralysis by analysis. So we never get to where we want to be. Fear. Sue Kim remained in that cave for 28 years, surviving off rats and roaches and all sorts of rodents. And many of you are very much ashamed. You may not be malnourished in the normal sense of the word, but you're malnourished in spirit and fulfillment of life. If where you are is not where you want to be, then it's time to say goodbye to fear and hello to belief. Belief is the antithesis of fear. When you believe in yourself, you're willing to take risks, you're willing to take that chance and pursue what you want in your life. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I have a barber. Just this past weekend, I stepped into the barber shop. He's 32 years old. Reminiscent of a young Cuba Gooding Jr. And I asked him, he has his own barber shop. I said to him, were you afraid to open this barber shop? And he says to me, yes, sir, I was really afraid. He said, in fact, I had 4 kids. I had recently got out of prison. I had no business experience, no formal education. I just knew that I wanted better for myself. So I asked myself this one question: what have I got to lose? So my question for each of you: what have I got to lose? Now, he has his own business. His kids are in private school. He had an old Wrangler car. He's driving a new BMW. And in January, he's going to open up another barbershop. He felt the fear, but he did it anyway. Sue Kim remained in that cave for 28 years, and it wasn't until a group of explorers came in and convinced him that the war was over. I'm your explorer today. The war is over. The proverbial war is over. Whatever you believe, you can achieve. Walk in the direction of the things that you believe you can't do, because that's where the growth is. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Mr. Toastmaster.